Because, honestly, like, I just feel like you can have your own plan, but God has a different plan for you. So you just have to just go with it. Mm-hmm. Because you can plan all you want, but your plan might be your idea, but that's not God's plan for you. So I think things worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into this next episode. We got some special guests in the building. Shanice, we got Channavy.
My bad, I thought we were going to hurt.
No, I would say everybody, but yeah, so Navi.
Hi.
I'm excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. So, we're talking about all things motherhood. And my girl is a new mama.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Tell us a little bit about you and your life and your baby.
So I'm Channavy. I am 28.
Had to think about it.
Like think about it after
I do. After 21, it's kind of like whatever. I have an 8-month-old baby. His name is Jameson. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
You being a mom is so crazy. Like, seeing your friends grow up and y'all growing together and be like, wow, y'all got husbands and kids. It's just like,
this is crazy.
I feel like a teen mom. 21.
Not you.
I hear people say that all the time on TikTok. They're like, I'm 23, but I'm a teen mom.
Exactly.
And I'm like, we was actual teen moms.
It's different.
It's different. If I got pregnant today, I would not feel like a teen mom. I would be like,
I feel like, so I will say, because the other day I was just like, I feel like we're like kids that are adulting.
Yeah.
So I can get like the concept.
Yeah.
But it's definitely different because having a husband and having, a house and having like your own stuff is very, very different than being a teenage mom. When you at home with your mama and you still gotta ask your mama to go places.
Literally. Or how we get some diapers today. Like,
can you drive me to the doctor?
All of that. Like that's teen mom stuff. Y'all not teen moms.
I think the biggest part that made me feel like a teen mom though was I remember getting pregnant and we did not tell our parents until I was like halfway through.
Oh my god.
Yeah, halfway through my pregnancy, and I was like, so
we should probably say something
I'm
whispering. That's why we like, okay,
you're right, great.
They were like, why are you so nervous?
Right, like what's wrong with you?
I'm a kid.
But talk to us a little bit about like you finding out you were pregnant, and then like now, like tell us what was like the hardest part about adjusting from like being pregnant and then like now having a like 8-month-old baby.
So being pregnant, honestly, I had an extremely smooth pregnancy.
Okay.
Like I didn't have morning sickness. I worked up until the day that we went into labor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Other than that, I think pregnancy was super easy. Like we didn't have any complications.
Good.
Other than I think I had to go in for an emergency stress test a week prior.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I remember thinking, I was like, my baby shower is like next week. And I was like, dude, if you can just stay in there,
right,
you can come after that. And he took it quite literally.
That's good.
As far as adjusting into motherhood, I will say, I guess the idea of having a kid, I thought it would be a lot easier because, you see people talk about like routine. Mm-hmm. And it's like, honestly, like there's no routine that can prepare you for actually being in the moment with a kid.
Yeah.
Like you can say, okay, bedtime is going to be at 7 or 8 o'clock. Yeah. Your kid has other plans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're going to tell you what the routine is. Yeah.
Yeah, you try it and then
see
it'll
what
work
works
for a couple days and then next week is different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that, trying to have the importance of having a routine though, because like you want to keep things in order and keep them straight, and then your baby just be like, I don't care about none of that.
Yeah,
like this is about me.
Trash that idea, and I was like, we're just gonna go with the flow. And, honestly, I think that's probably been the easiest thing is just going with the flow, because I felt like trying to be on a routine. It felt like every second of my day was doing something. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like going with the flow, it's kind of like, okay, so you don't really just need a dark, quiet place with a sound machine on. Like we can be out and about and you'll take a nap, which is great. Hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, when you try to like have them in the car, you're like in the car driving home, like, no, wait, don't sleep now. Yeah. We got to sleep when I get home. Because then I can go to sleep. But it's like, no, my daughter falls asleep instantly every time in the car. Really? Still to this day.
For real?
She go to sleep every time. Especially if we're going like on a distance. She will go to sleep every single time the entire drive.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we get home, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take, rest.
And she's like, I'm
hungry. What we doing? Where we going? I'm like, girl.
She's energized now.
What we doing? Yeah, every time.
Yeah. Every single time. No, I get that. I saw on TikTok that like they have like an app or something where you can like put in like how many times you changed the baby. And whether it was like just pee and like when you fed them and how many ounces, like there's like
really taking like
I guess
of all like
realistically
I was gonna say
I tried
some women are doing it for like with their doulas or when they have like someone who comes with them after. So like say if mom has like
this
the
is
first
definitely like a 2020
for sure, but like say a mom has like the first shift and the husband's gonna take the second shift and then they have like a night nurse to do like they need to see what was going on. So I'm like, I see it though. Like,
I can see
they're trying to have the routine.
It was more stressful to be honest, because it was like constantly. Yeah. They even like track like if you're nursing your kid, like how long they nursed on each side.
Oh yeah,
and
I do
so
remember that too.
You're trying to like nurse
really think about
at the same time, and you're like, well,
I'm tired.
Yeah,
I don't know how long that was.
That's what I'm like, and that's like the thing that kind of scares me about being a parent in today rather than like 12 years ago, because it's just like I don't know what the heck to do. Like I feel like everything is just so different.
Honestly,
who's really like?
I think having that app is more stressful than not, because like you may forget to log something, and you could be religious on like logging, and then you forgot one, and you're like, oh my gosh, did my kid use the bathroom in this amount of time? Like now you're like, do I need to call the pediatrician? Is something wrong?
Oh my God,
really is you forgot.
Right.
Yeah, I think some things work for some people, and some is just like that's gonna add too much for them not to do that. So I mean, it's all about going with the flow for what works for you and your family, your support, the whole nine.
I have a question though. Okay. Like, so for you, how has parenting with your husband, like, how has that experience been for you?
So realistically, we got engaged in December. We found out we were pregnant in January. So things shifted a lot. Like, we didn't do the honeymoon, the big wedding reception. We had a really, really small, intimate wedding. So adjusting to parenting and also being, a new married couple, it was a little difficult at first because we had Jameson, and initially we said I would go back to work. And, giving up the independency of being financially dependent on yourself and now shifting it to just strictly being financially dependent on your husband is a big shift. And then, it's small things like adjusting to just having a newborn is a lot. Just adjusting to becoming a wife is a whole lot. So when you put it all into one and you're doing it at the same time, it is overwhelming. But I will say, like, my husband does help a lot. He's very supportive. There's nothing that, I've wanted that I couldn't express to him, and he wouldn't try to understand why I wanted it. So even like I took a lash course, and it was, an investment to take. And I felt guilty at first because like, this isn't my money that I'm investing into myself. This is technically somebody else's money that they earn. And it was a big financial investment. And he goes, this is something that you want, and who am I to not support you in something that you want to venture in? Like, it's okay. And then once we got over that hurdle, the hurdle was, well, that means that you're going to have to stay home with the baby all day. Like, can you handle that? And sometimes you have to take a step back and say, well, you're a parent too. I need to give you room so that way you can learn how to parent too. And so
that's really good. That's real.
It
is. Because y'all had so many adjustment periods. Like, you were literally engaged, pregnant, and it was like, back to back. Oh my gosh.
Overwhelming.
So if you could have, I guess, like, waited for one of those things, like, would you have waited at all? I guess, like, just in the timing of it. Not necessarily wait, but, like, would you have, like, did the timing different?
I don't think so, because, honestly, like, I just feel like, you can have your own plan, but God has a different plan for you. So you just have to just go with it. Because you can plan all you want, but your plan might be your idea, but that's not God's plan for you. So I think things worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
I agree.
That's a whole word right there, for real.
I agree.
Because I'm one of those people.
Yeah,
I be wanting to
1 year, and then 2 years, and then in 3 years we're gonna and God be like, let's
scratch that. You thought
yes.
Anyway, back to what I had going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think everything does happen for a reason. And like, it was so back to back, but it was so, I feel like you adjusted things so well.
Yeah. And, even reflecting back, like we just approached 1 year of marriage, and reflecting back, there's growth in it. You learn how to appreciate your spouse more. And it just taught us, even though it was overwhelming, we learned how to lean on each other even more, because in that season of life, it was like, I need you more than ever.
Right. Oh, that is so cute.
But really, that's like the story that you always think of. Like,
yeah, it's like, because people say, oh, marriage is so hard. Marriage is so hard. And people are like, no, marriage is not hard. Life is hard. Like, marriage is what keeps me sane. Like, it's my partner with me, like knowing that they have my back.
Really
like that's what gets me through. Like, life is hard. Life, it's the ebbs and flows of life. But like, marriage is not. Which I'm sure there are still some things. But still, I feel like when we were growing up, or like when I hear people of the generation before us, they're like, marriage is so hard. Nobody said it's easy. No, nobody has ever said that. So why do y'all keep hopping on podcasts and saying marriage is so hard? Heard you. All right, I'm scared. But it's not even that. I'm like, a lot of times y'all are just in the wrong marriage. Let's keep it real. It's like when people come and they're being real, they're like, no, marriage is not hard. It's like any other relationship. But like, having my partner is what gets me through. Like, life is hard. And I'm like, okay, now I'm not so scared no more.
I completely agree with that. Because, you're still going to bicker. You're still going to argue.
Of course.
There'll be disagreements. But, I guess, like, for us at least, it's, I chose to spend the rest of my life with you. I, chose to go through this journey with you. And just because we have a disagreement doesn't mean that we can't come to agreement.
Yeah.
And it's how are you willing to fight for how much are you willing to fight for your marriage?
Yeah.
So.
You give me some
inspiring, right?
I'm like,
I'm here like, you know what?
I love this.
That's not so bad.
Hey, maybe we can do this one day. Okay. Get these little board.
Because for real, like that's probably like one of the things that like I get nervous about because like I parented by myself for so long. Yeah. So like the mindset is just like, you have to do everything by yourself. So like, just when you have a partner, you're just like, well, what the heck is he supposed to do?
Yeah,
like how does this make, like how do you even like adjust to the fact that like somebody else is actually going to be here to do things with you?
Yeah.
Because like I really, real life, was scared to have another child. Like a little bit still to this day. Like just like fear, like actual fear. So like, and then my boyfriend's like, I'm not here. Like, you're not gonna be doing this by yourself. I'm like, but how? Like, make it make sense. Know? Like, how does it? You're like, like, are you sure? Yeah. Like, you're just not gonna just.
And I'll take it even a step further with relationships. That's been one of my hardest things. Is like not even just like when it comes to parenting, but like having you around my kid, but then still like them being like, okay, but I'm here to help you. Like how do you even if it's just mental, like some of the you're trying to express, like. I'm stressed about some things. Okay, well, talk to me. Like, what's about my kid? And like, you might not know, but talk like to me. Almost. Yeah, and it's like, but you're not gonna get it. So like, well, why should I say something? And they're like, well, no, I was this age once, and like, I know with me, I've had where like demands to the boy. So like, I would be like, no, but you're not gonna get it. And they're like, I was that same age at some point. I probably get it more than you do. Like, talk to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, but releasing that control is difficult. Yeah,
but I will say, like. It is hard to like release the control, even I think biologically as mothers, like you constantly are like trying to be the nurturer, and at the same time, it is good to kind of hand over the baton, and I think one thing that does really good is just that daily or even a weekly just check in Like, are you good? Like, how are you feeling? Like, that's like an important part, because sometimes you get so caught up in just motherhood that, like, you're constantly, what do I have to do for my child? And it's constantly that, and you forget that, you still have to pour into yourself. You still need to take time for yourself. You need to find things to do for yourself and make you just you, which is another part of adjusting. You know who you are prior to pregnancy,
but it's different after.
In pregnancy, it's not too different, other than the fact that there's somebody human. Exactly. But, still, you still have a little bit of freedom to go out and do things you want during pregnancy. Then you have a baby. And then in the newborn phase, you're kind of like, germs are outside. And, if we go out, how am I supposed to feed you? Or, like, what do I need? And you're packing this huge diaper bag and, it's hard. And so then you kind of feel like you don't even know who you are anymore. Your body doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. Postpartum hair loss, just all these emotional and physical changes happen.
So what do you do to kind of keep yourself, like, as you transitioned into motherhood,
being honest,
and also being a wife? Because I know, like, I can only imagine, like, all of that, like, happening at once. My mind just like,
yes. Realistically, I think we do rely on our support system a lot, and we're extremely grateful for that support system. Just having parents that are involved in our child's life is really helpful. I will say, when you need a break and you just need to reconnect with each other, it's nice to say, okay, listen, kid, you're going over to your grandparents' house, hang out there. We'll be back to get you tomorrow.
Right.
So it's really nice to have a support system in that adjustment phase. Complete transparency. I even the feelings at 8 months postpartum, it's kind of like, I feel like I'm still trying to find myself again. Like, trying to figure out, what clothes are now appealing to my new body, because it's not the same anymore, and what works for me, and, what interests me now, because it's not the same thing. Before kids, going out, maybe like staying out late. Now it's like,
what time is it? I'm ready to go to bed.
It's 10 o'clock.
It's
Exactly. Like, wow, like, normally I'm in bed by 9:30. It's 10. I lasted this long.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's really real. Right?
That is. Yeah, I remember nights. I think me and Jaida walked in the house at 2 a.m.
Literally stumbling at 2:30, like, out partying. Now we being a housewife. Girl, yeah, I'm doing this face mask at 9:30. What you doing?
Exactly.
I'm on TikTok. Okay.
Oh, a shot. I think I might do a glass of wine tonight.
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah. That's it. Definitely appreciate your transparency about you trying to get back to you. I know that, like, for me, it was different with me being 15. I didn't know any of that. I definitely didn't have anybody talking to me about postpartum or, like, how do you get back to you, especially at 15. You don't even know you don't even know.
Right.
So I feel like trying to find who I was after that was hard, because all I knew was that I was just a mom. Parent, so it was just like, okay, but who is Jaida? Like, outside of that, like, who is Jaida? Like, who are you? What do you like? What is your interest? So like, all of that was, like, super difficult for me. But I feel like to this day, anytime I have a baby shower or a gender or whatever to go to, I always get the mom a gift. I'll go to birthday parties and get the mom a gift, because I'm just like, yes, I know that this is about your child, but, like, it's so easy, especially with parties, everything else. It's all about the baby. It's all about the kids, and that never changes. So I'm like, I want to give you something that reminds you, like, light this candle by yourself. Like, this is just for you. Or, like, you just get probably with your nails done. Like, something that is just specifically for you, so you don't get too lost, because nobody was talking to me about any of that. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even, like, now, I think, there's a facade that some women portray. Oh my gosh, having a baby is so easy, and I just adapted to this. And, in full transparency, like, I do feel like it's good to have those conversations saying, hey, it's okay, if you're having a hard time, because it is hard. It's not always going to be sunshines, rainbows, and, super easy days. There's going to be times where you're exhausted and times where, honestly, your kid gets like a bath and clean clothes and you still haven't. There'll be nights where you're going to sleep past midnight and waking up before the sun rises. Right. But, there's a facade sometimes that, it's easy. And that's not the case for everyone.
So on Instagram, I was asking other mamas how they feel about parenting and stuff. And one of the questions I asked was, what do you look forward to the most in parenting? And I feel like with you being a brand new mama, tell us what you look forward to the most.
I look forward to kind of seeing how his personality evolves, seeing what kind of person he's going to be, like what kind of person we're raising into this new world, because the world is scary. And, what are we doing that we'll be able to teach him so he can take out to the world? Yeah. And I think that's one thing that, like, I'm extremely excited to see, like, how he grows into his own personality.
Do you have like an age? Like, do you think that there's like a perfect age that you're like most looking forward to, or just the process?
I think, honestly, just the process. He's already growing up so much. Yeah. Like, I did not expect him to be this big, and like now he's like starting to try and crawl, and I'm like, slow down. But I think
so fast.
It does.
Like, it's like a blink of an eye. Like, because I can still remember, like, literally Sophia's first steps. Like, I remember, and it's just like, I miss her. Yeah. I miss her being so little. I mean, granted, I'm glad she could do stuff for herself.
For sure.
But at the same time, like, just the process of seeing them grow up, like, I don't know. I think that's like how like God kind of gave us like evidence of time, because literally, like, you physically see them growing, them learning, like different stages. Hair gets longer, like their face changes, like. And it's like so amazing, because like they were just so small, and now you're like not small. Like, how did this happen? And you think like time just goes so fast, but it just stretched. But like, I don't know, it's like a weird like concept of like time.
I think the saying, what is the saying? It's the days are long, but the years are short. And I feel like that's completely true.
It is. I feel like that's like, especially, I think when you have kids, like that's when it really like starts to click for you, because you physically see them, like, because sometimes you don't look at yourself and see yourself growing up. But like when you look at your kids, you're just like, wow, like you learned how to do what? Like, they come to you and they're just like, hey, I did this. You're just like, but how did you do that? Like, I didn't even show you how to do that. Like, how did you know?
How did you learn that?
Yeah, like, where did you find it? Like, they're just so interesting.
Yeah. I feel like for me too, I've been able to not even really identify, but like kind of piece together God's love for us through having kids. Because I'm just like, if God feels even almost half as much as what I feel for him, knowing he feels so much more, you love me.
Yeah. Like a whole lot. Like, I'd actually give my life for this person.
Literally, and just knowing how I feel about this little person that I gave, like, and just knowing that you would take care of me even better than what I'm taking care of this child.
Right. Even when they mess up. Right.
Yeah, even when they mess up. There's nothing I can do that would have you, like, shut the door on me. Or, because we're imperfect as humans and God is perfect. But it's just like,
and that's like, I don't know, like, I don't think I ever really put that together either. But it's like, that's like so real. And I think that's comforting.
It is. I love that.
See, between that and like my favorite thing to say was like, that like God trusts me enough to raise this child. Like that says
at
something.
that age that we were, right?
You'd be so confused that like, can I do this? I don't know how to do this. I feel like I'm doing something wrong all the time. And it's like, no, God, you trust me to raise up your child.
That's a whole lot of trust.
That's a whole.
I was young, and
that's a whole lot of trust.
I was.
What was you thinking?
We was just figuring this out.
But God, if you know the end from the beginning, you already know that I was made for this position. So, like, thank you for. I say all the time, thank you for trusting me with your child.
Oh my God! So I was listening to a podcast. I don't know if you've heard Dear Wifey podcast. Don't get me the line. I really don't remember his name.
Okay.
Tasha Cobbs Leonard was the guest on the podcast, and she said the most amazing thing that just like really like I literally had tears. Like, it was crazy, because she was saying how, how we get like mom guilt and things, and she was saying that somebody told her that when God equipped you, he also equipped your child to like really go through the things that, you know, you were called to do.
Yeah.
And you know how like us as like young parents, you know, we think like, oh my God, I gotta go to work, I'm leaving my kid. Like, I don't know how to really manage it. And then as a single parent, it's like a whole nother thing. And I was just like, oh my God, like, because when he thought about you and I being a mother, he thought about that our child kids. And like made sure that they were crafted and created in a way that they would be understanding. Yeah. They would like literally be able to, you know, like
that's good.
You know, like be good in the fact that like, oh, mommy has to go away or mommy's working. Like they're not screwed up. You know what I mean? Like you think we're screwing up our kids because we're away or we gotta go. Oh, I gotta work. No, I gotta do this and do this. And I was just like, oh my God! Like I never even thought of that. But I was like, it was just it literally made me feel like so good in that moment because I was just like, I needed to hear that. Like
I needed to hear that.
Seriously,
I was in my head yesterday about how like I feel like when Damaris was little. I was working and going to school so much. I'm not gonna cry. I was working and going to school so much, and I was just like, I feel like I've missed out on
like the moment,
some of those like really intricate. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I love seeing who he is now, but I'm just like, I feel like there was still a point in time I'm just like, I missed out.
You missed it, but literally, like hearing that, I promise you, I was in the car just like I was just like, God, are you see, like. Did you like? You talking to me? Like, how did you know? Like, because I promise you, like, it's very different. Like, and I'm grateful seeing like friends that have kids and that have partners because you can lean on each other, and even if you miss the step, somebody else got that. You know, like your husband or your spouse, like they got that moment, and you can still have the moment together. But like when it's like you're not there and it's just you, you're just like, oh my God, I'm missing. Them eat the peas, like I wanted to see the face, like you know.
That's true.
And nobody, I feel like nobody else is, you know, they're not doing the things that you would do as the parent. So like you'd be relying on pictures, and they ain't seeing nothing. Where's the pictures? Like what were you doing? Every 5 minutes? Why didn't you do that? Like you know. And I think just sitting in like that piece of knowing that like he created them for you as well, and like the life that he called you to have was like it kind of wrecked me a little bit because I was just like, why nobody ain't tell me this? Wow, like all this time, like I'm thinking like
that's really
I'm gonna screw up my kid, like what? You know, and it's really not even the case.
So pure for you too, you know. It's like we're human, we make mistakes, you know. As parents, new parents, you make mistakes, but it's like. Even when you make those mistakes, you look at your child and it's like you can genuinely just see how much they love you.
Yes.
You know? And
they don't know.
They don't know.
And
like,
right they're just like, oh my, like I just love you.
It's a pure love. Like, you know, you have times where they test your patience and you might get a little upset and you're like, man, I feel really bad. You turn around and your kid just looks at you and it's like you see the love in their eyes.
So let me see. I asked this question on Instagram and let's see. Shalisa said she looks forward the most to having a happy child. Monique said seeing her become her own person and seeing her apply what I've taught her to life, which is so special. Honey said seeing how my work played out in her. So everybody kind of has the same idea of things. Yeah, I love that.
That's interesting that we all kind of like have that thought of like just want like, you know, being happy to like see them grow up.
Yeah, the
like,
process.
Like
yeah, like Channavy was saying.
I think like now, like considering Sophia's about to be 12, I think I don't know. Like I don't want to say I'm looking forward. Like I kind of just like don't want her to grow up anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we are kind of in the same boat. I don't want to say I don't have anything else that I'm looking forward to, but I'm just so like hold on,
like just like wait, no,
there's not like a milestone for me right now. I'm
like looking forward to.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like the next thing is like, oh, she's going to college.
Yeah, like
she's
graduating high
getting
school,
married, and I'm just
going
like,
to prom.
Wait a second. Like,
yeah, it's like all the high school stuff, and it's just like I don't know that I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah.
So right now, looking forward every day,
right? Just
day by day.
You're just looking forward to next week.
When do you guys feel like that phase started for you? Like, at what age did you feel like it was like, okay, like you know, like I was excited to see like like the person that she would become, but now I need you to slow down.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I'm still excited to see who she becomes.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I feel like she has so many just different gifts and talents, and like things that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Or like I see so much in her that I was just like, I don't even know where this comes from, but I'm excited to see what happens, what comes from it. But I want to say, like, probably in the time where she like started really being herself, like in school, maybe like 4th grade, 5th grade, where it's just like, all right, bro, you doing too much. Like, wait a minute. Like, you know, when they like, oh, my friends, I'm on the phone. Like, it's just like, hold up. Like, when she starts, like, I want to say, like, when she started to choose other people over me, it was just like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean you'd rather talk to your friends? Like, what do you mean? Like, how do we get here? Like, when did this happen? I feel like that was kind of like that shift for me, where it's just like she was really like, oh, I'm talking to my friends, or like when she started saying like, oh, I'll stay home, and she's like, how dare you? What you mean? Like,
I'm your best friend.
Right. Yeah. We're supposed to be besties.
For me, it was this year. Demary starting middle school. It was like, I was like looking forward to that, see how he would adjust. You've adjusted, okay, great, stop. Right there.
Like, don't go nowhere.
That's enough. Like,
yeah, like we're good. This
I'm
is
good
a
now.
spot.
Yeah, like we're good. You can stop. Yeah. So for me, it hit me literally this year where I was like, because I love seeing his personality and like even him being on the phone with his friends. I love that because I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to see how you interact and like teaching you how to be a friend, all that kind of stuff. All that was fine to me. Like everything was great, and then it was like, wait, hold on. Stop.
Right.
Because like
too fast now.
You're like almost through 6th grade now, so then you're gonna be going to 7th grade, then it's 8th grade, and I'm just like, whoa, hold on.
Like high school.
Like, yeah.
But you know, my husband said something extremely comforting the other day. And he goes, you know, even though you know that your kids are gonna grow up and one day they'll be married and have kids, he was saying, he was like, I find so much comfort in looking at my parents, the grandparents, because I'm seeing my grandmother and my mom, and you see how loving and how pure it is and how she gets to interact. And he goes, you know, I love this moment in life, but at the same time, I can't wait to see how I get to interact with my grandkids and, you know, the kind of grandparent I get to be. And for him, you know, I stay at home. I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom. With him, he's out working all the time. And like you guys were saying, he misses milestones. He, you know, sometimes he's scared that he might be away for work in a different state and he's going to miss, you know, the first steps or when he first crawls and all these different milestones that he's going to have. And he's like, I don't have to miss that as a grandparent. You know, like I'll be retired, hopefully.
Right.
You know, hopefully. But yeah, so he goes, that's exciting.
That's interesting. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody
think that far.
Think that far as a parent. I mean, like, I always said, like, I want to be that grandparent because, like, my grandmother is that grandma. Like, but she's been home for, like, all of us. Like, she's taken care of, like, literally all of us. I was like, I want to be just like that. But, like, thinking about the fact of, like, when you're a grandparent, you don't get to miss nothing. Like, you could do, like, the birthdays, you can go take them for ice cream, and then you can send them back. Like, and it's
you
great.
get the 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
You know? And even if you only keep them on the weekends so that way mom and dad can get sleep.
And I think
you still get 5 days.
Even if you didn't have that grandparent, you can be that grandparent. And my grandmother would always say that she was a good mom because of her grandmother. And I'm like, girl, same. Because I'm just like seeing her grandparent me. I'm just like, oh, I got this down.
Right.
Like,
I'm going to be a great grandma. Yeah. Like, I know for a fact I'm good at that.
I'm going to be a good grandma.
And I think that was something else that his mom said. She goes, you know, like, I get a chance to be a parent again with my grandkids.
And it's so different from what my mom says. She's like, I can't even explain it. Because her and my son, besties. Can't pull them apart. I'm like, girl, they be doing stuff like at some point in our neighborhood, they had like the sprinklers going. And she's like, Damaris, let's run through them. I'm like, girl, If I even would have suggested that, she'd have been like, I'm not going to get my hair wet. I'm not going to be, and I'm like, and now she'd be like, come on, let's go again. And they're soaked, dripping, and just like, that was so much fun. And I'm like, I love seeing that.
Yeah.
I love seeing that because I'm just like, I feel like he gets a version of my mom that I didn't get. Mm-hmm. And it can be bittersweet, but because it can be. Yeah. But I'm still just like, I love that he gets to see that. He gets that grandmother because that was my grandma. It was no limits on anything. Like, whatever you ask for, you can get.
Yeah. And like, my daughter is the first great grand. Mm-hmm. Well, pretty much the only one that's here. My niece is in Florida. So, like, she literally ain't got no limits. Like, my grandma just, I'd be like, well, God, no. Like, they can have cake for breakfast and she wouldn't care. Like, I was like, where does come from?
What was this at?
She don't get no trouble. Like, they just, it's just like, this is crazy. But it's such a beautiful thing to me because, like, I didn't get to grow up with my great grandparents. You know what I mean? But, like, she's a great grand, like, you know, then it's my mom, me, and like, it's literally all of the generations that are still here, still living, like, and I love that for her, like, especially, like, well, my daughters, because she's able to really, like, live the same life I did with my grandma, but better, because they get everything.
Yeah, literally.
The world is your voice.
Like, it's literally everything.
Well, Navi, thank you so much for being here. I feel like this has been good. You really gave us some really good wisdom, and I hope that like some other mom really needed to hear this. I loved like the freedom off you, seeing you as a new wife and a new mom. It's just so like, oh my God, everybody growing up. Right? Just, like, it looks so good on you, and I just want to give you some encouragement. I think you're doing an amazing job. And I would love to tell you not to doubt yourself, but like, girl, we're almost 12 years in, and sometimes you still be like, was that the right thing to say or do? But those moments will come up. But like, lean on your support system, like that you have, which is amazing, and just continue to be you.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, I even see the growth and you know, the glow. I love that. Yes. I really love that, and you've inspired me because I'm just like, man, like it's hope out here, right? We's getting married now.
Do it.
Thank y'all for tuning in. This was great. Thank you, Channavy. It's been great talking to you.
Yes.
And we'll be back.
Bye.